Alright, I think I'm prepped and ready to go, and by that I mean it's been a while since I played. I set up all my hotbars at some point. I hope I didn't miss anything. And I think the first thing to do, if I haven't played in a while, is maybe refamiliar myself with some stuff. And hope I don't regret this. Let's see here. Alright. Oh no! Bardam's medal! Okay. Then we go. Oh, I don't have that skill yet. This one is particularly annoying back then, and I don't know if it's still as bad now after the stat squish. Okay, maybe it is still kind of bad. Pull that. Okay. Woo! Oh, I think that was a holy. Okay, cool. Gotta love that white mage actually has a stun spell. Oi, nope. Hi, Floofy. Thank you for lurking. Okay, those people are talking to each other, not to me. It's been a long while. I hope I can still handle everything that's going on. Oh, hey, let's filter to enemies only. Make sure these things become targetable. Come on. Come on. Face this way. Ah! Hey, the white mage knows what's up. Okay. Alright, that works. Moving on. I think maybe turn that up just a little for myself. Ooh. Okay. I don't know why I'm trying to do that because the... Ugh, I have been paralyzed. Okay. I was not quick enough to either move out of the way or stun. I'm going the right way, right? Okay. It has been a while. Let's change my chat filters. Oh gosh, there's more of these. No, 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 no. You face this way. Until you decide not to. God damn it, did I get hit by that? Ah! Oh no, Monk, are you okay? What are rotations? Am I doing this right? Oh, this is a boss. I just straight up pulled it. Oh well. It seems like everyone here knows what they're doing. No, no heaving. Oh, I keep forgetting that there was something I was supposed to proc while I was in the middle of those trash pulls. Oh well. Oof. No thank you. Rush, who you rushing? Okay. I'm trying to... Ah! Okay. Yeah, I should probably apply my dot. I don't think I can... No. I don't think anything here is interruptible. No heaving. There's the cat. Has the cat not spawned on the spawn table yet? I think he's gonna react later, right? That's not a bad place for it. Ah! There we go. I'll just pass on that. Sure, I could be turning in for seals, but... sometimes brain does not react the way that I should. Okay. Big rock. Big rock gets smashed. It's like a stamp. It turns rocks into golems. Wait, I can move on from here, right? I don't think I can. I'm being very dumb about this. I guess that pillar is gonna go away. Yeah, that's right. There was an obstruction. Oh, fucking. Okay. We move forward. And we pop arm's length. There we go. That's what I need. Who is stealing aggro from the thing from me? Okay. Pull those out of the Black Mage's ley lines. Woo! I keep forgetting I don't have my, like, dash in at this level. You get used to a high level ability and then you don't have it anymore. It's like, ah! Okay. Time for the boss fight that doesn't feel like a boss fight. Okay. We pick sections. Maybe. Not me rolling on loot right now. Inner, outer, look away. Should have started more inside on this part. There we go. We good. Okay, eventually something. Where are you guys stacking those? Did I get hit by that? Okay. This one continues for a while. Stay apart, people. Oh. Buy it once. Oh, man. There we go. It looks like we all got hit once. Because this part sucks. Okay. So... rocks become enemies that are untargetable, and they do things. Up. Okay. We go here. There we go. Alright. Sometimes I have to wonder about the dev decisions about making parts in dungeons where you like jump down to a high place and then get like tossed by a waterfall. That just... how did I not break my back? Hey, Cosmic! Thanks for dropping by! Plot armor. Oh yeah, the Warrior of Light definitely is like a big giant plot armor thing, like... we are the most powerful entity as far as we're concerned. I don't think the door here opens until I beat this. And then a rock shows up, I think. Ah! Yes, I knew about the rock, but it didn't get out of the way. Alright. Someone else can get the treasure coffer. Whoop. Oh my fucking god. So many rocks. Okay, I'm pretty sure this should be good. Pop cooldowns. Alright. Holy shit, that chunked my health. What chunked my health? I guess this place still is kind of a pain in the ass, but then again, I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while since I played that I don't expect to see my health get chunked that much. Oh, I should probably roll on this stuff. Okay. Focus target. I think we're good to just go. Let's go. Holy shit. Feather thingy-majigs. Again. Oh, why you stack on me? Okay, that's just raid wide. Whatever that ability is. Oh, look away. There we go. I think I just backed myself into a corner, and that's not a good idea. Raid wide again, I think? Nope. Okay. Okay, we get out of the way of the big bird. There we go. I do wish I could zoom out a little more. Cool, cool. Hey, it's going down really fast though, so our DPS is at least good. Cosmic, have you ever played? Do you play Final Fantasy XIV? Ah! Okay, no, that's not me. There we go. You wish? So that theme is the like Stormblood expansion theme, and at first it felt like very repetitive because it's kind of the motif of it is in like everything, but after a while of being away from it, it's not as grating as it used to be. I think all of the music in this is very cool. And yeah, that's fair. MMOs do take a lot of time. I haven't actually played in a long while. I've just been logging in every day to like do a few simple things, and by that I mean I garden for my like free company, the basically the Final Fantasy version of the guild. I've just been gardening to cross for like specific rare things, but I haven't done much of anything else lately. Uh but I still keep logging in because like, oh, when you quote unquote own property in the game, you have to visit it occasionally so that you still own it. Alrighty, so I'd say I'm sufficiently warmed up and refamiliar myself with my role. I should probably get rid of some of the stuff in my inventory, so let's go do that quickly. And then figure out where I need to go to get started on the expansion quest, because I have this thing where I turn off the like recommended whatever like next step thing is, and then I forget where I was last time, so I'm gonna have to go turn that on in a bit. Let's see, how does my stuff look right now? I mean, I just recently repaired, so I should be good. Let's head over to my grand company. Jump over here because I'm lazy. I don't want to take the long route. Okay. Get rid of these things for seals. Yes, foreclosure apparently exists in Final Fantasy. Not only that, but trying to get property in the game is kind of a lottery. I'm not going to really go in depth on explaining it, but it's kind of hard to try and get property. Not to mention that it can be a little expensive, but it's They want you to, if you're gonna get stuff like that and use resources, to actually commit to the resource. So that, I personally think, as shitty as it is, it's still pretty fair, and it's good enough for me. So, okay. Let's see here. I think that should be in my HUD layout. I bet there's a different way to get to it, and I just don't know how. Scenario guide. Let's turn the scenario guide back on for one moment. Display element. And, I need to go to Mordona. Okay. Now that I know, I'm getting rid of that, because I don't like having too much stuff displayed on my HUD. Do not display element. Save. Close. And we teleport to Revenant's Toll. Okay. That's the repeatable. That over there is different repeatable. Perhaps I should have checked where in Mordona I was supposed to go specifically. It's supposed to... Oh, is that what that marker looks like now? Is that... I don't recognize that marker. Maybe that's where I need to go. Wait, hold on. Wait, what is that marker? Huh. Litter Lona, what do you need me for? Dealings with the House of Splendors. Oh, are you just a, like... Okay, cool. I already know this information. It's neat that they, made, like, important NPCs like that marked with a, I am a how-to guide. Have I mentioned before that I get lost really easily? Oh, this is as much as I can zoom in, huh? I must have missed something when, like, I read the thing saying that I need to go to Mordona. What do I have going on here? Gift of the... Passings. Do main scenario quests just not show up if I turn off the main scenario thing? Or am I just... you know what? I think maybe I'm supposed to... Headquarters. Where was that again? How am I this forgetful? I used to go there every single day. Where's the entrance to it? There it is. That's the entrance. Okay. To the Rising Stones. Yes! Alphino, that's whom I'm supposed to speak with. Alright. The next ship to sail, Alphino is feeling the need to take stock. You're entire. Do you have some time to talk? I do. I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's Respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. I'm going to turn my volume up for myself just a little, and hopefully it doesn't come through the mic. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the how did they pronounce it again? Telephoroi? We shall find out later in the cutscenes. The Telephoroi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of aeons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have those towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem to be able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Ehrenwald and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. hate that there's so many different characters because I can't do character voices. Yeah, while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telepharoi are under the leadership of Fandaniel and one other dutiful follower, Xenos Ye Galvis, the Crown Prince and our dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Empress Varys, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Secession, but that has since changed, and in troubling ways. Oh dear. Do I want to try and even read Urianger? Let me think of it for a moment here. Well, just gonna try my best. Hey, doing our reconnaissance? English words that I can't pronounce because it probably wasn't English in the first place. The air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. The inhabitants appeared to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events, too, were orchestrated by the Telepharoi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Charlian, I'm sure of it. Master, what the frick? Fortunault? Fantasy names that are probably based off of another language pronunciation that I don't know. Master Fortunault's comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from Mistress Cryle. She said that arrangements for your visit has been finalized. You're to head to Limza and board the next ship bound for Charlian. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldassian, and come to assist with the Order's restoration. Jeez, I can't read today, apparently. Oi, Estinian's there! Why did I not... I'm so dumb. Yes, he was just asked recently to join the fray, and I did not realize he was in this cutscene this entire time! Yes, big words, hard to talk! Oh boy, Estinian's voice is very gruff. I know I can't. I cannot reproduce that. The arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course, we should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. I can't wait for the voiced cutscene so that I don't have to try and read all of this. I like reading, there's just too many characters to try and differentiate them by voice. So, the Endwalker is kind of the last big story event for the main story of Final Fantasy XIV. And other than your typical saving the world situation, what we know of so far is that there is I would say the most important thing to know of so far is that there is the goddess or god, whatever you wish to call her, Heidelin, the mother crystal, who usually represents light, and there is a opposing god, if you will, called Zodiarch, and As far as we know, it seems that there was a ancient civilization, and a catastrophe happened, and these like uh, somewhat god or demigod like people, the original inhabitants of the world, experienced this catastrophe. Their world was destroyed, and in this happening, or the event happened in the apocalypse event happening, they created Zodiark as the god to bring them salvation, but it requires a great amount of sacrifice, to put it very simply. And some people were not very happy about the full concept of what happens with this process, because you need to feed this god again in order for him to do something. And they think there's been enough sacrifice, so a group of people created Hydaelyn to oppose Zodiark, and in that opposition, Hydaelyn won and split the world and Zodiark into 14 pieces. So the original world was split into pieces, and in the eyes of the very few that of the original people, the Amaratines who survived, they view us, the now existing peoples, as lesser beings, as our lifespan is a lot shorter. We are incapable of the great feats of magic and creation that they were able to do, and they believe that their world was paradise and it was perfect, and they want to try and fuse everything back together. But in doing so, it causes catastrophe in the shard worlds. That's kind of the basic gist of things, and there's a lot more to it, but that's probably all the context I can give right now without stalling. I'm not very familiar with what Zoroastrian concepts are, but I do understand and believe that like a lot of things in fictional fantasy, of course, would be based off of. Okay, yeah, light versus dark. There's definitely a lot of stories that are like light versus dark, but I do love that a lot of like story content like this. One of the major things is like it might seem like light versus dark, but as the previous expansion Shadowbringer is brought, it's not always necessarily light versus dark, and the like the the exact definitions of that is definitely feeling like there is interpretation for the opposite also. So just light is not good, just dark is not good, and there's a lot of different things in between that definitely brings it into this is not just black and white. And Final Fantasy has not, of course, been the only story to do this nowadays, but I don't play a lot of different things. But another game that I've been playing that I enjoy that is doing the hey, we have light and darkness, but it's not as like black and white as you seem, is Destiny 2, which I will never stream me playing that because I cannot first person shooter for the life of me. I'm decent at it, but I definitely don't want to like show how terrible I am of that on stream. Alright, the next ship to set sail. Let's go to Limsa Lominsa, the um, pirate city, if you will. Sanctioned pirate city. Pirates that have become um, organized and only pirate when they're allowed to. I'm really bad at describing this, am I not? Okay, I do believe I need to go to the ferry docks, which the closest place would be the Fisherman's Guild. Alright. Someone's fishing over there. I haven't done ocean fishing in a while. Also, I have gone in the wrong direction. You know what? Maybe I've confused myself. Oh. I should pay attention next time. The Arcanist Guild is where I was supposed to go. Ah! I have map. I can read map, I swear. Okay. Hey, our NPCs are here. It's always good to talk to them before you continue on the quest. Ishtola. I might have lived in Master Matoya's cave for a good part of my life, but even for me, the thought of returning to Charlian is quite exciting. I can hardly imagine how it is for the others who lived most of their lives there. Uh, Charlia is like a big, like, researchy place that a lot of people, like, the people there are all about, like, observing the events of the world, and I think also research and documentation. But at the same time, their policy is to be closed off, and that they are only observers and they do not interfere in the events. A number of these people in the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who are like representations of your party members, quote unquote, um, came from Charlia, and they came here because they did not quite agree on sitting idly to the side and not actually doing anything to make a difference. Is kind of the watered down version of it. I wouldn't quite say they are the scientists of the world, though there are definitely a number of them who do research and try to, like, uh, they're more like truth finders, I think. There are also, just generally outside of Charlotte, also a lot of people who do research into something that's more like scientific research. But at the same time, this being Final Fantasy, it is a partially magic-driven world. So there's people who would research into magic, and then there are people who would research into technologies that use magic for people who cannot use magic, if that makes sense. um, they would call that Magitech, of course. And yeah, there's different fields of study. Let's see what Alphino has to say. Though a part of me looks forward to returning home, I've not forgotten that my father stripped us of the privileges of our family name. I hope it doesn't cause trouble with the officials upon our arrival. Alphino and Alize, their dad recently showed up as like an envoy from Charlia and gave us the verdict of Charlia will not help in this endeavor, and then disowned his kids. So that was a fantastic start to things. Oh yeah, and definitely Final Fantasy XIV is chock full of references to other Final Fantasy games, and I will be ashamed to admit that I have not played many, if at all, of the other Final Fantasy games. Um, Wait, what? Did Floof just say goodnight to me? Are is Lunar Oatmeal just going back to bed? Okay. Okay, good night, Floof. I played one Final Fantasy game from beginning to end, and that was Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates, a spin-off to a spin-off. I started 7 Remake and then did not continue it, and I played Final Fantasy IV almost all the way. Got stuck on a boss and then never continued again. I don't own that game anymore. Alright, Alize. Alize is, I do believe she is the older sister of the two twins, so Alphino is the younger brother. What a grim reason to bring you to Charlian. Not much to be done about it, but I suppose I would have liked to give you the grand tour under happier circumstances. It is a shame. Graha Tia. He is one of our newer members. Hold on, someone's trying to talk to me. Okay. Alright. I never thought the day would come when I would be sailing home again. It always seemed so far, far away. A little background about Graha Tia in the last expansion. There's a lot more to him. There's a lot more to everyone here, but he may or may not have done some time traveling shenaniganry. ended up in a different world to be able to call us there to fix a big problem that was entirely the last expansion, and he um, has been, technically speaking, alive for a very long time, trapped in that other world, trying to like do the best he can to try and save that world. So he's technically a very old soul.
Everyone wants to fuck Graha because he has foxy grandpa energy.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Lunar. I also don't know if my mic's picking you up, but Lunar said, "Finally, I get it. Everyone wants to fuck Grahatia because he has foxy grandpa energy," and I'm not sure. He is charming in his own way. You can hear Oats, okay? I mean, there is thirst for a lot of characters here. There's all of the characters in the Scions, I think, has some sort of following of thirst. This is Estinian, the Azure Dragoon. He's probably my favorite, even though he's also like newly added into the Scions. But in terms of storyline, he's present from almost the start. I wouldn't say the start. Present since the second main story expansion, even though that's called 3.0. I'll explain that later.
Isn't he also present in
And yes, he is present
Dragon
in the
Quest
Dragoon quest.
in the first expansion?
Yeah, so in the first expansion or in the like base game, if you start out with Lancer and actually go into Dragoon, you will meet Estidian before he becomes relevant to the main storyline. And it's pretty great. And I was a Dragoon main. I am not playing Dragoon right now because like um the class that they showcased this time was Paladin in the Endwalker expansion trailer, and I thought this time, since I have Paladin leveled up, I'll go with Paladin, and also if I play a tank class, I won't have to worry too much about queue times. But then I remember that they have added a system in this game now where I can do the storyline dungeons without queuing up with people, so that doesn't matter anymore. Still, I will stick with Paladin this time. Okay, Estinian. Sea travel can be tedious, but I don't mind it. 'Tis a rare experience for most Ishgardians. Estinian is from a like I would say a religious coded like cathedral church styled city called Ishgard, made of stone and everything. And since one of the apocalyptic events that happened that changed this entire world, Ishgard is now perpetually under snow and ice. It is always snowing, always cold there. It sucks. And they were also constantly under siege with dragons until we somewhat solved the problem with the dragons. Thancred. I don't know if I have a lot to say about Thancred's backstory. He is one of the only heroes here, race-wise. That means he's human. Uh, in fact, we've got two Mikotes. That's the cat people, Yashola and Graha. We have four Elizans, the elf people. That would be everyone else. Tataru here is a Lalafell. Um, Thancred's been through shit, uh, and I think he's the oldest person in this entire party. There's simultaneously so much and so little to say about Thancred. He's been through shit. Contrary to what you might think, this will be like going home for me as well. I may have learned how to survive in Limsa Lominsa, but it was in Charlian where I was taught, quite relentlessly I might add, the skills to properly live. Orion J is something. Honestly don't think I know too much about Orion J's like background compared to these other characters. He was always just there, and he's definitely the more research bookish of them all, but he's also a thought. I shudder to think what manner of truth awaiteth us beyond the indigo deep. Still more do I dread the prospect of discussions long overdue. I think I've spoken to everyone. Let us continue. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee is non refundable. Tataru is kind of like our main desk person, but she's also in charge of all of our finances and stuff like that. And she will sometimes make new outfits for everyone. So, uh, oftentimes before an expansion or something, like she'll give you a new set of aesthetics gear. The ship for Charlian should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. Cutscene, this should be voiced.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule. Or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
Oh shoot, is this coming through my mic? I'll mute for now.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one.
Does that help a little bit? I often had my audio for the games turned down very low, so, and I'm trying to balance between my mic and whatnot volumes. Maybe, do I have a noise gate on? I don't think I do. You can hear the music. Okay, well, let's continue for now and just let me know if I need to make any more adjustments to the desktop audio.
And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief.
I just realized I'm an idiot and I should probably just change my game sounds to go through my headset instead of my speakers. Give me one moment. Okay, now there shouldn't be any more cross sounds.
Mic off.
Thou hast matured much in
Mic
the intervening
feedback
years.
on.
Wert
Mic
thou not
on.
caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he
Mic
made
feedback
landfall upon
off.
this dock?
Mic off. Mic feedback on. Mic on.
Lunar says hi.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian?
I would believe so. He spent most of his life trying to get revenge against dragons.
Sir Estinian?
Oh no.
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
Okay.
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
Oh, poor Alphino.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Cosmic says, hi, Oat, good day to you.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland.
Oh, Tataru, it's written all over your face.
It's just, we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hell-bent on destroying the world. And once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
That's true. In this case, I will go with the first option. I'll bring them back safe and sound, I promise. I've done no introduction of my actual character, huh? I'll do that later.
I'll hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower.
Oof, dangerous operation.
Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye, we your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
There's quite a few onlookers here. I wonder what that's all about.
It's time.
I mean, yes, I get it.
Then
I'm
delay no
famous
longer.
now, but...
We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice.
That narrative voice. I feel that's definitely
That
probably
which
Emmett Silk.
lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Interesting. Lots of expansions, well, 2 games with expansions that came out very recently for me, like within the year, has been about finding the truth, finding your truth among light and darkness. What a time.
Here.
It's Heidelin.
Feel. Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not
Mic
join the others on
feedback
deck?
off. Mic off.
Sharlayan should be coming into view at
Mic
any
feedback on. Mic on.
Man, that's gotta be not comfortable to sleep like that. Automatic doors, quote unquote. I guarantee it's definitely not automatic, but it's just the limits of the game. Huh. Who are you?
My voice yet
Oh.
reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
Alright. I do like her hairstyle. I wonder if that's ever going to be made available. I haven't checked. Why now, Hydaelyn?
After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Hydaelyn has always been, a primal.
Quick explanation about primals. They're beings that, through fervent worship or belief, and a lot of like energy sacrifice, are summoned. But because they are not exactly real and composed purely of aether, which is the like fundamental building block, as the world is comprised all of aether and elemental aether, they to continue to be realized into existence, they have to continuously receive a bunch of energy and aether, and the people who summon them become tempered to them, so they basically cannot stop worshipping this being and do their bidding, become enthralled. And they're not good, basically, environmentally and for people in general, and cause a lot of problems and destruction, usually speaking. And finding out that the quote-unquote god, like the main god or the light of the mother crystal that everyone believes in to be real, is also a primal, which is not exactly common knowledge, is kind of a big deal, because this kind of is a moment of well, you know, if primals are bad and Hydaelyn is also a primal, what does this mean? What is the truth? And yes, so worship equals existence. Yep.
Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it.
That mask in front of her is pretty important. The Amaratines, the like original inhabitants of the world, were all people who were also like very tall and big, like kind of like giants. But they all wore masks out when they're out and about and in society. So like, they're kind of a society that were like, not only did they have like powerful creation magics, but they kind of touted a bit of like modesty of sorts. I think it's more complex than that, but that's the basic gist of it. The creation of each of the two original gods, Zodiark and Hydaelyn, required a sacrifice to become the core, and we know that. So their governmental system, so to speak, or the people who are in charge of keeping the city of Amarat like working and everything in good order, it was, I believe, convocation of the, was it 13 or 14? I think it was 14 and then became 13. The Convocation was the one that created Zodiark as their response to the apocalypse happening, and the sacrificial person was one of the seats of the Convocation. And then when Hydaelyn was created, someone else became the core, and I forgot what her name was because it was mentioned like once or twice. But it would appear that means that Hydaelyn's form right now would be that of the Amaratine who used herself as the core. She has a very ornate mask.
When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Interesting. She must be referring then to the Traveler. The Convocation each had a title, and it's implied so far that the Warrior of Light's soul is somehow in relation to a important member that was either in the Convocation or part of that society, because throughout a series of events, someone said something about recognizing the Warrior of Light's soul. So, could be about that.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks.
Peepers?
Guardians, just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land.
Oh, yes. Okay. Definitely
We shall
referring
meet
to the
again.
Traveler.
And soon.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Charlian.
Oh, the
Oh,
opening
I see
theme
it.
music is starting.
home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you? Indeed, 'tis as Sir Estinian said. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Ooh. Endwalker, alright. Definitely done a lot of talking and cutscenes and not a lot of actual playing.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
The Northern Empty, Old Sharlayan. Alright. We have arrived.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
Oh, that sounds about right. Trying to get into any closed-off place is gonna be hard as heck.
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Estinian, always the, the kind of sour one. Or one could say he's
Quite.
overly practical.
So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed.
Or also just pessimistic.
The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions.
I do suppose Estinian also actually falls under the category of being more of a realist.
Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration. Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration offices were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
I don't have such command set, but thank you for being here.
Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Grahat here of the Students of Baldesion at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today.
Tataru certainly has everything in order for us. So...
And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
I keep forgetting Ishtola has an actual last name.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with a citizen registry kept in the main repository.
So like a fingerprint.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
It's so hard to tell the gender and age of Lalafels, but I kind of like the like you'll never know until you actually get to know them.
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny.
Yep, that did happen.
And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
Oh, is it? What has been going on in Charlian?
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Charlian natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
Oh dear, do I actually like answer? Ooh, I like the options here. Artisan. I bet I unlock that just from having certain trade crafts, which I have all of them at 80. That was the previous max cap, so. I actually like Adventurer by Trade because in my little character profile for RP reasons that I never RP for because I don't actually do it, my little character background is that, Adventurer by Trade, I guess that just means like he's an adventurer, so I do adventuring, but I do it for his character. He does it to help with his crafting, so we'll go with Artisan.
Indeed. Your profile describes you as an adventurer, but one also trained in the rather more constructive pursuits of procurement and production.
Heck
You
yeah!
may.
Heck yeah, that's me.
And you, sir?
My fellow Azure Dragoon.
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Dude, have I ever heard his last name before? Maybe a long time ago. Formerly the Order of the Knights Dragoon. Oh, I guess, technically speaking, since he no longer, like, goes back to the city on a regular basis and has gone out, quote-unquote, freelancing, he's no longer the Azure Dragoon, but that title doesn't really easily get revoked.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
He hasn't thought of that? Oh dear.
If you'll allow me.
Oh no, it's Kryle. Estinian's quite fearful of her.
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it.
Thank goodness.
But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
Oh, but of course.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Kryle, it is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you all seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Alright, we have everyone here. I am unaccustomed to fabricating lies on demand. Why should it matter how I earn my living? Here we are at last, the great city of Sharlayan. You may have noticed some similarities with the Crystarium. Yes, in fact, Oh, but we really should let Kryle have her say first. We can continue this conversation at another time. You are doubtless eager to take in the sights. Not to worry, Urantai. The city is not like to vanish before we finish our discussion. Even allowing that the years I spent in the first passed here in the blink of an eye, the city feels untouched by time. Allow me to extend unto thee my warmest welcome, Urantai. May the wisdom of my homeland aid us in our endeavors. I'm fine, honestly. Better to be waved through with a stern warning than be denied entry after all. That was about as awkward as expected. Still, we're here now, and that's all that matters. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for detail. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. I don't think that's a problem for me. Horse Chestnut weapon coffer. A wooden chest containing a weapon, one whose size possibly exceeds the dimensions of its container. Item level 115 should be better than what I have by a lot. Okay. We equip them. Huh, it's got the same model as the sword and shield that I like using. But, oh, it is also dyeable. Interesting. How is it different from the one that I would get from other places? Is it because it dyes differently? Well, except my augmented Crypt Lurker stuff is better, apparently. I think I don't have the augmented Crypt Lurker sword yet. I do not. Okay, this is fine, and can I glamour plate? Yes, I can. Sweet. I will look into what to do with that later. Holy shit, my inventory is getting so filled up because I fish. I think everyone still says the same stuff right now. Yes, okay. Alright. Old Charlian, new to you. Kryl sweeps the scions with a speculative look. Oh, it's not voiced, darn it. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Urantai and Estinian's first time in Charlian, and for the rest of you a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you all may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. I may not be welcomed at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There is no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of the old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetherite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. Any words from you, Orianjay? I too have places I would be remiss to not visiting forthwith. By thy leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Cryo, are you perhaps... you know what? No, I won't say anything. Well, Raha, I would like you to join us... whoops. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, poor guy. Oh, of course, if you will have me. Come, Urantai, Charlian awaits. Hey, the new quest accepted sound. Not bad. Alright, so... So this is the port area. That seems to be the main area. And we've got two flanks. After you, my friend. I'm more than content to follow your lead. Grahatia is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Grahatia behind by entering a different area, using the Aetherite, or by putting too much distance between you. You can also speak with Grahatia and select the option to part ways. If you wish to have Grahatia accompany you again, return and speak with him at the original location. While Grahatia is accompanying you, next try speaking with Kryl. Okay, that's an interesting feature to have been added so far. All set? Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the Last Stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Kryl is now accompanying you. Lead your two companions to the Last Stand and speak with Kryl at the designated location. While you are accompanied, you may encounter conversation points along the way which offer additional topics of discussion. Okay, so like Z-skits in Tales games? Enter the glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate these bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring your surroundings together. Alright. I mean, it is a very story-driven type of game, so let's see here. Oh, you know what? Let's, I haven't checked my retainer stuff. Let's just get that out of the way quickly. I need to do something about my inventory at some point. What do I even have going on in here? A bunch of stuffed Mandragora queens and minions that I want to give away to friends, except I don't have anyone to give them to right now. I don't need this. Discard that. That needs to go back into storage because I'm not making any more plushies right now. That should be good. These are food items I was crafting with, and then fishing stuff. I'm not fishing at the moment, but I don't have room in my saddlebag. So what's going on in my saddlebag right now? What can I possibly get rid of? Not a lot because I've been planting stuff. I guess this is what I have to live with right now. Don't need that. Discard that. Actually keep that. Okay. I can't remember which one of these I need later for ocean fishing. Shrimp cage feeder, I think, is definitely something I need. This should make it a little more bearable. When would I even be using these dyes? Why am I holding on to so many of these? Well, that should be a little better for my inventory. I really needed to do some cleanup at some point. It's just hard. I don't think I need these. We discard those. Okay, that's a little better. Oof. Alright, let's see here. Discuss the storage facility. With all the unusual wares coming and going at all hours, I expect the assistance of an intrepid adventurer would be highly appreciated. I see no reason why you couldn't undertake any task which pique your interest. You have been cleared by the immigration officials, after all. I look forward to the day your name is celebrated in Sharlayan the same way it is in Eorzea. This place is called the Peristyle, and it is the first stop for cargo unloaded at the docks. You'll find the unusual necessities for daily... sorry, did I say unusual? You'll find the usual necessities for daily living and other imports vital to running an island nation, but also supplies that further Sharlayan's pursuit of knowledge, namely large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Sorting these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. Neat. Okay, so that's where our leaves and whatnot are. Guild ship hunt vendor. Okay, so that's for the hunt marks here. That's for the hunts here. Let's attune to that shard over there. Okay. What do we have here? Discuss the giant statue in the harbor. Now that is a sight one could hardly forget, the great statue of Thaliak. As a student of Baldessian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise features, and every time I returned by ship to the city. This path leading out towards the sea is known as the Thaliak Stoa, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people prize the accumulation of wisdom upon all else. Thus, when Thaliak was chosen as our patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief, an alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that of, say, the Ishgardians. Individual Sharlayans can and do worship the divinities of their choosing. So it would seem that's a major point of interest. I head to the last stand while accompanied by Grahati and Kryl and speak with Kryl at the designated location. Okay, I have a feeling if I really want to get the most out of this little quest time right now, I should probably go around and work on tuning to all the aetherites here first. Always do that first. What does this guy have going on here? Are you waiting on someone, sir? That is quite the impressive briefcase of stuff there. You have the look of an outsider, and I have little and less to discuss with foreign barbarians. Oh, okay. Okay, sir. Why did I expect anything more? Scholars Harbor. Let's go to the main plaza first. Ooh, that's a different look from usual. That is pretty cool. I want to say I wonder if like there's a meaning to the shape, but I don't know. Let us continue. That's the weather person over there. Okay, so we shall head east first. So I'm here with a cart of crystals or minerals, whatever it may be. Slight sound change of footsteps over ground, different types of ground textures. That's always a nice touch when games do that. Okay, I have gained access to Journey's End. Up there is Ox Landing. Oh, the Levier Estate is right up there. Maybe I'll go take a look if there's anything interesting going on with the NPCs there. I mean, I have a feeling I can't go inside. That would make the most sense that I can't go inside. Oh, okay. Doors opened. This is the estate of House Levier. If you do not have an appointment, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave. But of course. I'm sure I'll come back here in the future. We'll worry about this place later. I open the map a lot, I know. I just gotta make sure I know where I'm going. Archon's design. Seems like there were no other important places to talk at, but I'll go double check that in a bit. Where else? Down that way and go over this way and I should be good. Can I just jump down here? Yes! Ow! What is fall damage? I don't care about fall damage. Okay, the studio. There's a mender in there from the looks of it. What exactly are the facilities in there? Okay. Looks like there's a little shop there too. Seems like a calming little place. So it has a little bit of forestry here. There's forestry that I can walk through. I don't think this direction I wanted to go, was it? Oh, yes, yes it is. That should be all the shards. You have attuned yourself to all the Aethernet shards in Old Charlian. Alright. And, yes, Scholar's Harbor. Oh, teleporting does this. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. It expected me to be on foot for everything, I guess. So I've already spoken over there. I think... Yeah, I think there was just 2 points of interest. We shall continue. There are people standing around here. Alright. And here we are, the last stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Charlian tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. As encapsulated by our infamous Archon loaf, the prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first and taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meal no longer, so he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Charlian. The one and only bastion of culinary arts is an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Charlian when it came to cheap and convenient, Raha. But surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when the time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. Oh wait, was this supposed to... Well, I guess I jumped the gun. Back around the entire place I go, I guess? This is what I get for being like, let's complete all the stuff on my own first and then continue on with the quest thing. I don't always trust the game's, like, quest line to give me the room to actually visit everything. But I guess maybe it'll only take me to the plaza and maybe a few other places. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it's a perfectly functioning aetheryte. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Sharlayan stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allegan aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to the Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. What direction is that? Okay. So there's where the gemstone trader and people are, and materia vendors. Vendors, tool supplier, full plate armory proprietor. Interesting. Okay. Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Sharlayan, as well as a wide selection of imported goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one which has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetheryte Plaza, follow the path north, and then climb up the stairs to that imposing building at the very top. Ah. Up we go. This is not quite the place to be, but this is a talking point. Discuss the water features. These little decorative features are typical of Sharlayan architecture. Aside from the research wing, our headquarters on the Isle of Val were rather simple and rustic by comparison. How do I pronounce that? Nymphaeum? Nymphaeum? This is the Nymphaeum, an area dedicated to the blessings of water. For Sharlayans, water represents more than a life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated the birth of our nation, as well as a symbol of the knowledge which flows from Thaliak's divine ewer. This is the reason you see an abundance of fountains throughout the city, and a propensity for utilizing water as a decorative feature in our architecture. I see. Alright, here we be. This grand structure before you is the rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From here, one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the first. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the counselors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Thankfully, I think I'm decent at cardinal directions. But also, I guess the map is, marked with a compass. Excuse me, did I think my controller just disconnected. We've arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore with Archon Neonkipf built their first homes. Gosh, well, what does that even... In the present day, it serves as a residential district for the most important officials and the old Charlian families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friend from House Levier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Charlian tour to a close. I hope this has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldessian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, and then follow the path below the Aetheryte Plaza? Oh no, hold on, you're not giving me cardinal directions. Head down towards the harbor, so south, cross the bridge on the right, so to the west, and follow the path below the Aetheryte Plaza? Okay. Oh, well, I suppose there is a quest marker on my map. Oh, no, it's actually on my right, as in... Oh, yeah, no, it's to the west. As expected. Right, we cross this bridge here, as I recall. Stick to the path, and be careful, do not end up back in the Aetheryte Plaza. Gotcha. Charlian's full of educational and research institutions, but there are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools they run in these residencies. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. I hope they're okay. Be careful to not end up back in the Aetheryte Plaza, but this is the Aetheryte Plaza. I have to go through it. There we go. As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep of Phenomenon, but I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you then. I'm back, and I've brought Urantai and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Urantai. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika Sunjika. It's been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika Sunjika, the administration officer for the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day businesses of the Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin, Ejika? That would be, I think, for the Eureka stuff that I never completed. Oh yes, Eureka. I've read the initial reports. Quite a shock to hear what's become of the Isle. Do take care if you have the opportunity to rejoin the expedition. Yeah, I never finished it. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlian, whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engage in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telephoroi fall. Through that door on the left is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is. You probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please feel free to make yourselves at home. Ah, the nap rooms, perfect for an afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed, far more so than some cheap roadside inn, if you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we were often so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks, and thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long incoming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Cool. Let's take a look at what the rooms look like. So this is where I would go for the private room here. It is a mess on the tables. Very very study-like. Interesting. Alright. Comfy feather bed. There's the glamour dresser. And all the other facilities. Alright, let's be on our way. Mender. Do you have papers pasted on the walls of your room? 'Twas not unusual for occupants to pin up notes or documents and such, and then forget to take them when they went on their merry way. Sometimes it was quite deliberate, though. You might see complaints addressed to other members, or a thank you card from the engrossing literature someone left behind. Beloved traditions, that I should know better than to dwell upon. If we are to create a future for the students of Valdecion and so many others, we must look to the days ahead. It's okay to reminisce. Hey, it's a map of the world! Interesting. Well, what posters we have here? Oh, that's about, King of Muggles. King Mogmog. That is what happened, I think, after that last catastrophe. Is this the Eureka map? I actually don't know. That might be the structure from, Coils of Bahamut? What is this cube? What is this cube? There's probably some stuff that I've missed. That looks familiar also, but I don't remember what that is. Perhaps that's, there's the Crystal Tower. Maybe some stuff inside it. Up there is, I think, the Allegan stuff. What's his name? Az's Law, I think? Yeah. Neat. Oh, actually, no, that's... I guess this is... So wait, hold on. This is... I think that's Eorzea, then... You know what? I'm not gonna even freaking pretend I know what exactly all these places are right now. Moving on. Feeling refreshed and alert? Our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Oriange. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroid's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous.
Yes, that definitely would be a curious
Even
point.
more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth.
I would definitely say that the most recent occurrences would fall under that category.
Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Favnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. It is possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Oh, was I requested?
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnarian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts.
Well, I mean, I suppose I do have the ability to teleport.
You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Small amount, you say? I would not say that your amount of experience in the field of research is small at this point.
Alice and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
Alright.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Okay, let us continue. So it looks like I have two paths here. And let's take a look here. It's not better than what I currently have. Honestly, I could be saving these for other things, but I'm the type of person who will oftentimes just open things. It doesn't look bad though. I like it. All of this is probably going to go into my thing later. I should really just get rid of some stuff here. Come on, like, I can just buy more dyes later. I say, but I am so, like, attached to colors. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. Throw things into my glamour chest. which is over here. So the question here is... in terms of this item, so this one like dies on the inside, and I think that one dies on the outside. I have a keyboard and mouse. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's worth keeping. Let's start with them. Hitting the books. Kryl is intent on uncovering the reason behind the Forum's inexplicable behavior. An unsettling change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause of the Forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge, which is why I began scouring Charlian's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it is to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages that one can skim in a day, but now I have this band of willing reinforcements. The search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Nomenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Alrighty. I don't usually take the actual marked paths, but today I guess I'm taking the marked paths instead of a shortcut. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenor, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of the many that for the archives of Numenor for the archives of Numenor extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Gubal Library pale in comparison to Numenor's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Y'shtola and Raha to investigate these. Meanwhile, Alize and Alphino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot any sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! I feel like I shouldn't be entering a library dressed like this. This feels a little better. Right. Books upon books upon books. What? What? Holy shit! I'm like, you're too small to be a Lalafell. You look like one of those mammoths. You're adorable. I hope I can get you as a minion someday. Though you're also a little big to be a minion. Or maybe are you actually a Lalafell? No, you are sized as a Lalafell, I guess. I'm just too tall. What's with... You are adorable, whatever you are. Brightly colored book. I have to be a disciple of... Okay, fine. I will be sage. The title on the spine reads The Story of Charlian. Read the book? Yes. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadan man by the name of Nymkynth. Nymkynth was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nymkynth's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel into pieces. With only moments to spare, Nymkynth wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Albalthia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nymkynth gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charlian we live in to this day. Okay. Red-covered book. The title of the spine reads Roads of Old, the Colony. Many years ago, on the banks of the Thaliak in the Dravanian hinterlands, a Charlian colony once thrived. So this is about, shoot, what was the name of that place? Oh well, I'll have to remember that in a moment. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to the study of the ethereal sea in the year of 1311 in the 6th astral era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Charlian, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Charlian inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. Yep, there we go, that's the name. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. This book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Charlian motherland in great detail. Unfortunate. Leather-bound tome. The title on the spine reads The Voice of a Growing City. In the years which followed the founding of Charlian, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. Oh my goodness. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the Sixth Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlian would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the form as we know it today conceived and created. Alright, so that was something we needed. Blue covered book, An Introduction to the Heavens. I doubt this would contain anything important to the quest, but have you... shoot, I am on top of my cord. There we go. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, our scholars' depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was this technologicalist of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws which governed the starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and that sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past? That their positions continue to shift among imperceptibly but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the forum or mention the history of Charlian. Hey, I like my flavor text game! Okay, one moment here. A few more interactions, and perhaps I should get ready to prepare for going out for dinner. But first, let's get through these. Did I actually walk by something? I don't know. Okay, no, I already read the blue-covered book. Well-worn manual. Forever 20 Summers. I don't know if this is a manual. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night engrossed in philosophical study I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus I do share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living, will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truth you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, aetheriological, and arcane viewpoint. This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the forum or mention the history of Charlian. Again, game, I like my flavor text. Time-worn tome. The faded title on the spine reads Stewards of Wisdom. Read the book. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Niunkrimph, founder of Charlian, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Charlians took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth in coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Charlian would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war and with knowledge deliver the world. You have gained a fundamental understanding of Charlian history and the foundation of the Forum. Head outside to the rendezvous point and await your companions. Okay. Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I'd borrow at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Cryo should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final days specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was quite fond of reading outside. I was always quite fond of reading outside, but it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You missed your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family's servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Charlian, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family? Or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlian, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of what is that? Ilzabard. In the southern reaches of Ilzabard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvus, the coastal region opposite to the island of Thavnir. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes, some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amonis. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. Were those important people? I don't know them. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices have been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan eye is no longer passed to our eldest children as reliable as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Alleg. As the last child born with the Allegan eye, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Here, another good reason to get to the bottom of the foreign stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Trifling, you call it, Alizé? Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Yurentai. More company should be arriving any moment now. So I have to wait longer, huh? Alright, it is getting a little late. I have been added for, let's see, about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I will stop here for now, and perhaps come back at a later time. Alright. It was nice to stream today, and we will get back to it next time.